Hello and welcome back to the Jazz Ranch. It's wintertime here, there's snow on the ground, and you know, the altar dominant man was a little perturbed with me because I called him immodest. Anyway, so I told him to, get busy and do something useful, and he decided that he would take the ladies out, and I said, you can't take them out on a campfire now and sing bebop tunes. You have to go out and take a sleigh ride or do something, interesting in the snow. So he's out there somewhere with the horses, with the ladies on a sleigh ride. But anyway, I'm glad for him. But we're going to continue tonight with my look at the harmonic minor scale, as well as the other minor scales that are important, the melodic minor and the natural minor scale. And we're going to show you those scales utilized in 3 different songs. The Autumn Leaves, also Greensleeves, a classic, and Summertime. So here we go now with minor scales. Okay, so this is part 2 of the studies on the harmonic minor scale, but I also want to talk about the natural minor and the melodic minor, and I want to review them. So let's just go through that. Now we're going to be doing it in the key of E flat, which is relative to C minor. I just want to use C. So how does the C major scale get altered to become a minor scale? Now in the natural minor, it's going to be altered by the fact it's going to have 3 flats in there, because it's relating to the relative major of E flat, which has 3 flats in the scale. So we're just starting on C, playing the E flat major scale, and that's the natural minor scale, also called the Aeolian scale. And how does it alter the major scale? Well, the 3rd is lowered, right? It's a minor 3rd. The 5th is raised, or you can look at it as the 6th as lowered to a minor 6, and the 7th is lowered. You could call it a minor 7th or a flatted 7th. So we have a minor 3rd, minor 6th, and a minor 7th, or an augmented, if you like to call it that. I look at it either way. So that's the natural minor scale. And the other one is the melodic. Next one is the melodic minor scale, in which you don't alter these notes. They stay the same as the major scale, but just the minor 3rd is in there. Now, in that particular one, you have the advantage of having the leading tone there, taking us to this back to the C, which is our root and our tonal center. So the other thing is that melodically, you're going to see how it works in different tunes. It has sort of a melodic aspect to it, creating melodies. And then the 3rd one is the harmonic minor now, which is the same, but when we get to there, now we're going to go to the B natural. So it's a little bit of a combination of the 2. Minor 3rd, minor 6, and natural 7. So now let's look at a couple of tunes to see how these scales are going to work. Continuing now, unfortunately, you don't get to hear all the swearing during the outtakes, or in between outtakes anyway. So we're continuing now. I'm going to be using the tune Autumn Leaves. It's a very well-known song. It's a very simple song, but it's complex in the way it moves from the relative major to the relative minor. In other words, in this key, in E flat, it starts out the 2-5-1 into relative major, and then the 2-5-1 into relative minor. So it goes F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat major, A flat major, then 2-5-1 into relative minor, D minor 7 flat 5, G7 into C minor. Now, what the composer does is he uses the natural minor scale at the beginning. These are all fitting the natural minor scale, that A flat. But right here now, he switches to the melodic minor. Particularly for that rising line, you need that melodic aspect to the melodic minor. That's why it's called the melodic minor. It's more melodic. Otherwise, he would have had to write it this way, like that. That wouldn't have worked. Our ear can tell us that it's right. Right? If it was all, say it was all melodic minor, it would sound like this. So you need to have both scales. You need to combine them for this particular song. And once you know it intellectually and your ear reinforces that, you know it better. than you did just intellectually or just through your ears. You have a better understanding of everything when you understand the meaning of it and the scales, and also you hear what they sound like. Now the harmonic minor scale is a little bit more unusual because of this minor third interval in there. And it sounds kind of exotic. It could be an Eastern music kind of thing. Something Coltrane would have loved to work with, and of course he did work with that. So anyway, we're going to look at the different modes. Now the modes just mean I'm going to start on a different step of the scale. So if that's the scale, then the first mode now is going to be a C minor. You could do that, but that's not really it. It's really like a C minor maybe with a major 7 in it. Can't be a C minor 6 because that note is not in the scale. But so minor, major. And we do have those chords falling in a lot of different tunes. Second one, now we go to the second step of the scale and make sure we have all scale tones in there. We can't have that, or we can't, you know, so it has to be D minor 7 flat 5. And that's such a fascinating thing because the D minor 7 flat 5 is married with the G7 flat 9. So like this, to resolve to its 1. Right, so 2, 5, 1, and that 5 has the flat 9 in it, so the flatted 5th becomes the flat 9 of the 5. Okay, so mode 1, mode 2, third mode is going to be E flat major 7 with an augmented 5th. Now that's kind of a fascinating chord that's used a lot in you know, like Herbie Hancock. Empirical Isles, and you know, like he used that chord a lot. So it starts here. This is an insert. We're up to the fourth mode now. In the fourth mode, built on the F, it's going to be F minor 7, and the B functions as a sharp 11 there. 8, 9, 8, 9, well, 8, 9, 10, just a major scale. 9, 10, 11, sharp. So you might ask, why isn't it a half diminished? Well, I think the reason for that is because this is really the leading tone. It's an altered note. It's altered there rather than being, you know, in the natural minor scale. It's an altered note, so we're going to use the chord tone for the 4 chord. So it's F minor 7, and that's a sharp 11 up there. Now the 5 chord is the one that was most interesting to me as far as jazz is concerned because of its built on a, you know, you can use it in jazz improvisation because it has the augmented 5th and the flat 9, and that you can look at that augmented 5th as also a flat 13, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 flatted. And then the next one, the 6th mode, is going to be A flat major 7, but it's going to have that sharp 9 at B in it, you know, like you might think, well, that should be there. Or it could be an A flat minor 6 or an A flat minor major 7, but I'm just going to take the chord tone there and make that, the logic of that is it's a sharp 9, which you would not play with the major 7s. And then the next one is interesting because now it's a diminished chord. And whenever you have a diminished chord, now you have a lot of ambiguity. So if you have a B diminished and the scale is this, like that, that's it now. You don't know whether is it a diminished chord or is it a dominant 7th. Well, it's functioning just like the dominant 7th, which is the 5 chord, which is the one I was most interested in showing you because of its improvisational capacity to be used in improv on dominant 7ths, because dominant 7ths are all over the place. We're always dealing with the 5-1 relationship or a 2-5-1. So the diminished chord, you know, has that aspect to it. Now, interesting is that it has a half step start, you know, and usually diminished chords start with a whole step. I mean, diminished scales. There's your diminished scale, and here's this one. It's different, slightly different, but it's unique in its own way, and it does work great with a diminished chord or with a dominant 7th. An interesting example of the use of the melodic minor for creating a melody is the song Greensleeves, a traditional song I'm sure you've heard. You see, that's melodic minor there. With that A natural, then it goes to a B flat chord here now, which is natural minor, and then down to a B flat, which is natural minor in the melody. So now we're in natural minor, and now down to melodic minor. So it's sort of a combination of the two. Melodic minor, natural minor, and then here's your melodic minor again. Then natural minor again. Then melodic minor. Natural minor. So that leading tone is in there. Here's melodic minor again. So that's a perfect example of the melodic minor and the natural minor scale working together. Remember at the beginning I said that we all want to learn about scales, but scales are just a means to an end. And we use them as a means to play melodic ideas. And you know, that's how composers work. They work with scales. Like for instance, Gershwin worked with this scale, the C minor natural scale, to create the song Summertime. You know, and then sometimes we have to add in additional notes that aren't in the scale. And that creates another scale that might be the harmonic minor or the melodic minor, or some other type of scale. So now I'm going to play something and try to combine things, including the blues scale, into a little version of Summertime here. Signing off from the Jazz Ranch, here's the Herbmeister. I call him Herbie the Third. Anyway, I can't bring the horses in here to show you, but anyway, someday I'll show you. And the alto dominant man, he's still out there riding around on the sleigh ride with the ladies, so I hope he comes back safe. Anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Write to me, and I'll sign off by saying stay warm and swing loose. Say goodbye, Herbie. There he goes. He's a great guy.